Hi Warrior, Nile Harris here. I'm sharing with you 4 huge mistakes I made as a freelancer, both when I was new and experienced. Hi, I'm Nile Harris, a life strategist, consultant, and speaker working with aspiring entrepreneurs and professionals to transform their passion and purpose into profit. And I'm sharing with you today 4 huge mistakes I've made when I started freelancing, and even as an entrepreneur 9 years later, right? So these are mistakes that you might make even if you're experienced. So I want you to not make those mistakes. But before I get started, please take a moment to subscribe to my YouTube channel and turn on the alerts so you know when I post new content, and join me in the conversation on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at I am Nile Harris, and LinkedIn at Nile Harris. And I want to talk about, again, like I said, these 4 mistakes that I made, because I want you to not make the mistakes I made. I want you to learn from my mistakes. And I want you to know it doesn't matter if you're a freelancer, if this is a side hustle, or if you are a full-time entrepreneur. Chances are you may have made these mistakes, or you're going to make these mistakes, and I'm going to not only share them with you, but also kind of what you can do to move past them. First big mistake I made was not getting clarity with my client. Now, I had been laid off due to a restructuring several years ago, and I reached out in my network and got the opportunity to do some freelance work, and actually secured a 5-figure contract by packaging my expertise and doing what I naturally do in terms of strategy. And I was helping a startup biotech company do an opportunity assessment to figure out what they should do with their technology. And, we signed the contract, everything was hunky-dory. We get to the end of the project, and I had produced several financial models, forecasts, a couple of presentations that walked through the various options and opportunities and what those could potentially net in terms of a return on investment and how much investment would be required. And then I put together an executive summary. Sound fantastic, right? Nope, they weren't happy. And long story short, it was simply because we were using the same words to describe the deliverables, but the words didn't have the same meaning. And this is something that's so easy to make a mistake on. And by the way, mistakes are learnings. So these were my 4 biggest learnings, okay? Because I win or I learn. But this is something that we do all of the time. Communication is key. And we agreed that I would deliver reports, but we didn't agree on what those reports should contain, how much depth. That I thought the presentations coupled with the executive summary delivered all of the information, but they wanted something that was a little bit more in depth. I wanted the client to be happy. I went back and did some rework and delivered a full-on 80-page presentation or report. But had I gotten clarity in the first place? So what you need to do with your client is make sure you are defining what things mean. If it's a report, what does that mean? Is the report in PowerPoint? Is it in Word? Is it supposed to be an editable report? Are you going to deliver it in Word or Adobe? Should there be pictures? Are you going to do financial models? Have this in your statement of work, which is within your contract. Either you have a combined contract for services, or you have a contract plus a statement of work. Doesn't matter, it's entirely up to you. Research what you want to do there, but make sure you clearly define the deliverables, what is in scope and what is out of scope. So let's say that you are putting together an ad campaign or some marketing collateral for a client, and you're really clear the deliverable is an 8.5 by 11 size ad that is ready for print. You also want to include what is out of scope by saying printing is not included. right? We're going to deliver a print ready ad, but we're not going to print it for you. We're also not going to source media outlets for you to run the ad. So you just want to have clarity around what you're delivering and also what you're not delivering. Freelance learning number 2 was not meeting no meeting of the minds with the contract. So a contract must have 2 things, and I'm not an attorney, so consultant attorney, but a contract has to have a meeting of the minds, and it also has to be agreed to, preferably written down and signed. So we had a signed contract, but not a meeting of the minds. In this particular client I'm thinking of, it was about how I was to receive my final payment. And what happened was the client wanted to pay me regular cash plus equity in the company in the form of options, stock options. And I wanted the option to decide whether I wanted to accept those options or have the rest paid in cash at the end of the project. I thought we had that meeting of the mind, and I thought that was laid out in the contract. So what I did was, when I returned the contract, I only signed the last page. Now I hear you, but this was a few years ago, before you kind of had a really easy ability to electronically sign documents. So I sent back only the last page. So we didn't necessarily have that to rely on, because at the end of the project we didn't know which version of the contract that signature went with. But don't worry, we worked it out. Learning number 3, allowing a change in payment terms. This one, it seems like, well, of course, Nile, why would you change your payment terms? Well, and this is a mistake I've made recently, right? I made this mistake last year. Because I was working with a small startup that didn't have a lot of liquidity, didn't have a lot of cash, and asked if they could split that payment into 2. So they would pay the first half in 30 days, and then they would pay the second in 60 days, just sort of stretching that out. And I knew the people, good salt of the earth people, so I decided, okay, I will lapse on my payment terms. I know. Did you just throw something at the screen? Don't worry about it. I threw lots of stuff at myself, okay? So here's the thing. You know what happens next, right? They were late on the first payment. They were 2 weeks late on the first payment. 2 months late on the second payment. I know! Stop throwing things at the screen. You're gonna break it. Look, your payment terms are your payment terms. I get it. You have clients who you've done business with, you want to help them, they might be struggling, and you want to, be of service. Here's the thing, other people, other vendors were getting paid when I wasn't. So I get it, I hear you, you want to do good in the world, but be very mindful, very careful that if you're going to do that, be sure that you assess the risk better than I did. Now, eventually I did get paid, of course. Now you're saying, but they may have been late anyway. Sure, they might have been late anyway, but I probably would have gotten my full payment 2 weeks late versus getting my full payment 3 months late. Mistake number 4. Learning number 4. I had no systems when I first got started, and again, this was a few years ago. This was before we had Slack and Asana and Monday and Shift and a lot of other tools. Canva. I didn't have a lot of systems, so I was making invoices in Word documents. Now, I'm not saying that to shame you, right? If you're making your invoices in Word, I totally get it. There are free services out there that can create a wonderful invoice for you, track it, and also collect payment for you. But having systems, that's part of my boss system, right? So I help aspiring entrepreneurs and transitioning professionals manage their business like a boss. B.O.S.S. And one of those S's is systems. And I don't want to hear, Nile, I'm not techie. My mother can put together a computer from scratch. Okay, I was just waiting for the I'm still not techie. You don't have to be techie. By the way, some of these systems are so simple. In a lot of point and click and right click and point some more. But having systems, and it's not always just about having an electronic system, but having a workflow of what you do when you get a prospect to taking them all the way through to a great experience with you. So make sure that you have systems. And so those are my 4 lessons. Now look, if you are still listening to this video, it is because you are somebody who has been working on launching your business, and I want to congratulate you on that. I want to congratulate you on getting after it, warrior. Good for you. And I want to help, because my why is to do good in the world by helping do-gooders do good in the world. So I have made my 3-part series on freelancing and side hustle quick start guide free. Look down below into the link to my 3-part course. It is going to teach you, and it's free. Did I mention it's free? It's going to teach you how to package your expertise to attract paying clients, develop systems, and how to manage your business like a boss. B.O.S.S. You want to know what the other letters stand for? Click the link. I'm sharing this with you because right now, I don't know when you're watching this video, but right now we are going through the corona pandemic. People are laid off. And again, I want to do good in the world by helping do-gooders do good in the world. I don't have a lot to give, but I do have what's up here to give. And I want to give it to you for free. I don't know how long it's going to be out there for free, but I'm telling you, it is a magnificent 3-part series. And I'm sharing with you some of my swipe files, invoice, contracts, some other swipe files that you might like. I want you to click the link, get on board, and just get started. Just learn. And I'm also sharing my 50 plus favorite business tools. Doesn't matter if you're a photographer, a teacher, online course creator, speaker, you have a brick and mortar startup, you have a medical device startup, you have a tech startup, doesn't matter. 50 of my favorite business tools that are out there. Many of them are free, many of them are free to try, and some require a small investment, and I'm talking maybe $10, $12 a month to upgrade to a premium service. If you're not using Canva or Shift, you need to get your life. But that's it. Those are the 4 lessons I learned in freelancing and side hustling. If this was helpful, please share this video. Please click like, subscribe to the YouTube channel so that you know when I deliver more content that you can implement. Okay? And join the conversation with me to get more juicy tips for warriors like you on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at I am Nile Harris, and on LinkedIn at Nile Harris. And click the link below to get the 3-part series Freelance and Side Hustle Quick Start Guide.